What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Power Rankings, guys. We're here power ranking anything and everything Survivor Michigan. I'm Paul. As always, I'm here with Joe.
Hi, everybody.
And this season just keeps cooking along, doesn't it?
Oh my gosh, I know. I was literally just thinking, like, how many episodes have there been already? Like, we're really deep into the season, and every episode has been amazing.
Every episode has been amazing. Idols make their first appearance this week. We've got drinking at challenges this week. We've got all sorts of just nonsense going on this week.
Lots of feet.
Lots of
people that might be into that.
Yeah, lots of feet. I feel like, again, this week I'm not going to accuse someone of being the producer behind this challenge this week because I feel like that's pulling at a thread we don't want to unravel. But
right.
Yes, I'm going to leave it there and say yes. No nudity this week.
That's true.
We have a little shirtless Andrew content, but like for the most part, we don't see anyone actively stripping on camera this week.
That was very different.
So 5 episodes in.
We reset the counter back to 0 days since.
Our version of day since Cooper screwed you is day since someone got naked. So now we're at 6 days since someone got naked. So we're at 6 days now.
It's
Tomorrow
Tuesday,
is 7. So we'll see what episode 6 has to bring. But for now, we're on episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the aftermath of the Will boot. Super emotional, as at one point Cooper says it was very awkward, which correct it was.
Yeah, for everybody.
Jesse says of Will, maybe he's going to take this personally, or maybe he's a mature grown man. I like Will, so I'm not going to comment on which of those things I think is true, except to say that Will is already missed. Leia is having a really great moment of self-awareness here too, where she's talking about that she's just not driving the bus at this point. And I like this for Leia, and I think it leads to some interesting things later in the episode where she's setting herself up. This kind of self-awareness in a Survivor player is good. I think it's something Leia has always brought to the table, but I think even more here in All Stars.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice. Like season 1, I feel like was so long ago, so it's nice seeing these like season 1 players back playing again. I think, like you said, she's doing a really good job setting herself up, and it's nice seeing that again. Since it's been so long since we first saw Leia.
Yes, and we loved her then, and we love her now. Kevin has all these unrequited alliances where he wants to work with all these people, and every single one of them is in confession like, I don't want to work with Kevin.
I know. I think we kind of said it, was it in last week's episode, where like, I mean, how, if that tribe loses, like, how is it not him next? But like, we do see a 5 meeting up, right?
And it's that Kevin, Megan, Bailey, Andrew, and Cooper 5.
Right.
Cooper's openly saying this isn't real. Like, this isn't a thing. Like, I don't think anybody really thinks it's a thing.
No.
I think, I don't know what's going to happen. I think Kevin is the obvious boot in that situation, but I think that would be a mistake for several of these people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But we'll see. Yeah. I'm interested to see what happens if that team. I don't want them to lose because I don't want to lose Kevin. Because I love Kevin. As previously, I don't know when I became America's biggest Kevin fan, but at some point this season, I've just been completely converted to the Church of Kevin, and just all of it. He's so good.
Like a villain.
I know he's won me over. He really has. So I'm all in on Kevin. I'm the only one who's all in on Kevin. I just want to point that out there. Nobody else is all in on Kevin. Kevin, though, I've just said that I'm going to criticize him here. At one point, he says of the departed Will, I'm not going to quote it exactly. He just says "get effed, nerd." Come on, Kevin.
Yeah, that was rubbing salt in the wound, like really, really bad.
I was not thrilled by this confessional.
No, me neither.
I feel like Kevin, who I really like, as we've previously stated, I feel like sometimes he's leaning into this villain role a little too much.
Yeah.
Kevin the villain is great, and I love Kevin the villain. I like Kevin the strategist much more.
Yeah.
And I like Kevin the guy who's trying to win Survivor Michigan a lot more than Kevin the guy who's trying to make people cry.
Yes, I agree.
So I'm hoping that we get back to that guy. Because while this guy is fun, is not even that fun.
Maybe with this Will situation, he's kind of gotten in and out of his system, and he can maybe shift his focus back.
I hope
strategy. So we will see.
Yes. So we move on to this challenge, which, as we previously stated, is holding a balloon between your feet of two people. Most people choose to go barefoot here. Do we think that's the right call? Barefoot? Is that what we'd be doing?
I think so, because shoes, definitely not.
Yeah.
Like socks would be too soft.
I feel like socks is slippery.
Yeah. And honestly, like if your feet sweat a little bit, maybe that could help. I don't know. The science behind all that.
Is sweat helping or hindering?
I don't know.
Situation is where I'm like, I don't.
If it's a lot, no. If it's like a little bit of like a mist, then maybe. But
I think you'd have to have a self-awareness around your foot sweat situation.
Right.
Yes.
And again, we're not fully sure what the temperature is outside.
Yes.
So that could come into play too. If it's colder, you're not going to be sweating.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think barefoot was the way to go. And as long as your toenails were nice and pedicured and fine there, then no risk of popping the balloon.
That's a great thought that I did not consider until this moment. But yeah, that's another danger zone that could have been there. We get a great Leia quote. What if one of us farts? It's just funny.
That was good.
Then we start drinking during this endurance challenge, and I just wrote down me AF is the note.
As I'm sitting there like, why would you bring alcohol into this? It's a challenge.
This is another situation where you and I are just not on the same page. It doesn't happen often. But I'm like, dude, like pass me a beer. I'm Team Sam on this one. Like, let me just pound a beer. I'm also Team Katie, always Team Katie, first of all, as we know, but also Team Katie, both drinking and I think serving as bartender for this challenge.
She does it all.
She does it all. At one point, also Cooper is wearing his season 1 khakis in this challenge.
Oh,
so the Cooper season 1 khakis have made a reappearance, and they don't help him at all. It's not a thing. Season 1 Cooper, I feel like, was good at a lot of the weird, like carnival gamey stuff that Survivor usually has you do. Not so far, I don't think, in All Stars.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yes, that I don't. My memory doesn't serve me well on that for Cooper this time.
No, this is the best Brady has been so far. Is in this challenge. At one point, he's making sure that no one under 21 gets served alcohol.
That's good.
Wink, wink, nod, nod. Yes.
Yeah, you need that person.
We're on YouTube. He's very funny at this point. I feel like Brady is still warming up a little bit in tribal councils.
Yeah.
Like there's moments where I'm like, come on, bud. But this.
Yeah, I just made a face. So I feel like I have to. Brady, I know the season is over, but stop asking people if they think that they're safe.
Yes.
Or no, is he asking them if they're safe?
Who feels safe?
If they're in trouble.
Who feels safe as his tribal council?
Stop asking that question.
Raise your hand if you feel safe.
Stop. Episode 1 is where that should have been left. So that's just my one qualm with Brady's hosting skills. Is like some of his questions are just like, that's not necessary. Anyway, but we love Brady regardless of that. But we have to be a little bit critical, right?
We have to. This is our job here. We're power ranking things, and we're waiting for Brady to climb our power rankings list of hosts. Right now,
that's
he's
very tough to do.
It's a tough list, man. You are in tough company.
Yeah.
But this immunity challenge made me, there's promise here, because he was quite funny. He was quick-witted.
We'll nudge him up a bit.
Yes, more Brady commentary during challenges, I feel like here. Adam and Nick are a pair, and I feel like we're contractually obligated to root for them.
Yes, always.
I love both of these boys. This should be an alliance forever. I love them. This is I just wanted to shout that out. We're just it's all pride all the time on here.
Yes, we love it.
I wrote down here, Leia doesn't stop talking. Which is what Brady said. But I feel like at this point, that's a qualification to be president. She's worried that she's not going to get to be president because of what they're showing. And I fully disagree. I feel like the ability to just talk and talk and talk while doing other something, at this point, Leia is closer to the presidency than she was in season 1.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right. You have, I mean, it's all that you're doing. Press conferences, meetings. Yeah. She'd be
just
perfect
talking.
for that. Yeah.
I would vote for Leia.
I would too.
I think Leia would be a good president. I would
love to see her like plan for certain things, of what's going on. But yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, I feel like she's got a strong sense of herself, right? She's like she's like a confident person. At this point, she's pulling together a cabinet of women at this point, which we love to see. Like,
yes,
I'm fully on board with President Leia at this point. Now, if Leia is president, now let's explore this. Cooper is what? Because I don't feel like vice president. Cooper's not going to be the vice president in this situation. He has to have some.
It's funny. I was going to ask you, like, who would be a good VP from Survivor Michigan for Leia? Yeah, Cooper needs to be like. He almost needs to have a job where, like, he, like thinks he's doing a lot, but might not necessarily be.
Okay. Yes. Maybe
that
like
make
UN
sense?
ambassador for Cooper or something.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that to be like shady, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like he's got a really good mind for things. So I think if he's like constantly having to do things, maybe I feel like he would like champion like anything he would come up with or like get done, like he would be like, yes, this is like the best idea. Like no one's ever done this before in this role. I could just see him doing that.
Maybe like Secretary of State Cooper. Ooh. Like where he's like visiting foreign countries and he's like all about that. I think vice president is probably more in the like Emily B role. I think would be a good, because she's smart and she's strong and she's like a good support person.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm all about
there's
that.
There's a few people that could, hey, maybe we'll see them on the ticket.
Listen,
year, or we're
all in on this. Yes, absolutely. I'm all in on this. We'll find a way to work in Mitch because we have to. I have to work in Mitch here somewhere. He has to have so he can't be a communications director. We already know that.
No.
Mitch and Sam are out on the communications director's job. We have to find something else for them to do.
Yeah.
Okay, well that
was a fun tangent.
That was a fun tangent. Jackson and Bree finally lose, and it's together. They're paired up, and they both take their first L of the season.
Wow. I loved Bree's just monologue about how bad Jackson has been. Yes. And honestly, she taught me something. I didn't know what skinny abs versus regular abs were. So
yes.
Now I will never look at abs the same way. So thank you, Bree, for that.
Yes.
I thought
as
that
a
was
possessor
hilarious.
of skinny abs, not currently, but at various points in my life, as a possessor of skinny abs, I am very well aware that it is not an indication of fitness whatsoever. I do have Jackson popcorn muscles written down here at some point, which is Bree is so good.
Yeah.
Bree is good actually in this episode for a lot of reasons, but this is kind of the start of a very strong Bree episode, which we love to see.
Yes.
Kevin potentially saving his own life at this immunity challenge. He's one of those 4 people who is winning this challenge. So good for Kevin. This is maybe the second time Kevin has saved his own life in an immunity challenge.
Yeah, he's been really good at the challenges.
An underrated story is like beer pong Kevin definitely probably, I mean, definitely won for his tribe, but potentially saved his own life there.
Yeah.
Again, here he's probably saving his own life. So frat star Kevin, clutch gene, love him. At one point, everybody is saying squad, which tells me what year this was filmed. Do you remember when everybody was saying squad?
Yes, I know.
I was in
go ahead.
I was in like 3 different group chats at once that were all called squad with like various emojis and stuff, and I had to try and keep them straight.
Yeah, I was like, it always like shocks me back into like, oh yeah, this was like 2019. I have to remember that.
The golden age. Jessie has still never been to tribal council.
That is incredible. Is she the Michelle Fitzgerald of the season?
She is the Michelle Fitzgerald of the season, and she gives a fantastic confessional about how people always say you want to go to tribal council early and establish stuff. She goes, I don't know. Because if I don't go to tribal council, I can't go home. And honestly, people overthink Survivor.
Yeah.
They really do. And especially in an all-stars game with a cast like this, people overthink Survivor. You know what? Can't go home if you don't go to tribal council.
Right. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
Brioche is how Bree is lower thirded at one point, which is, again, she's just killing it.
Yeah, love it.
Bailey and Emily B. Bailey has a good moment here. I'm not sure that Bailey has a good episode here for reasons that we'll climb into later, but Bailey has a good moment where she's repairing this relationship with Emily B., basically saying, this is how the vote was going to go. I had to go with the majority and with Kevin. And she says something that is really great that I'm going to bring into my repertoire. Ooh. She says, just because I was against Will doesn't mean I was against you.
Oh,
I think that is such a brilliant way to frame, because, you know, when you play Survivor, you're in these situations sometimes where there's somebody you want to work with, but you're just on opposite sides of things and you have to vote differently. It's just the game. And I think what Bailey did successfully in this relationship is build that bridge and say, hey, I'm not anti-you. This is just how it had to be this one time. So
yeah, that's a great point. And I think too, it speaks to like the evolution of Survivor or the fluidity of the game, or it's not just like, you know, oh, the 3 of you were on the same starting tribe, like because I voted out Will, now you 2 are next, or anything like that. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That is a really great quote from Bailey, and it just proves, and especially in like an all-star season where there's so many connections, I think a season like this is where you could do something like that and actually mean it and be like, like you said, like she was against Will, she wasn't against Emily B, and repair that and move forward instead of just like now being at odds at each other because of that. So yeah, this is a great space for that type of strategy.
Yeah, sure. I was really, really happy to see that from Bailey. Cooper talks about trying to weaken Leia. And again, even Cooper is saying in his confessional, like, I did this last time. I voted out Cam and Matthew, and then Leia retaliated. And it's like, yeah, she did. Do you remember that, Cooper?
Right.
Do you remember when you voted out Cam and Matthew and then Leia retaliated? Do you remember the second part of that sentence, bud?
Right. Like, yeah, he's walking a thin line there.
Cooper is playing a finesse game that, when it works, is masterful and is impressive. But you can only walk the tightrope for so long, especially when it comes to Leia.
I know.
Like, this isn't season 1. This isn't. This is a tough player you're playing against. I don't know, Cooper.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna something's going to come up between the two of them. I feel it,
Yes.
especially if Cooper keeps doing stuff like that. He's like testing the limits.
I think Cooper came into this like very much. He wanted to play hard, but he also came in with kind of this same mischievous streak that Sam does.
Mm-hmm.
It's just played out differently.
Yeah.
With Cooper, a lot of it is just played out at needling Leia.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like what Jesse said last week, like they're going to give Leia a gun in the Marines, Cooper. Like, are you aware of this?
Right.
Leia's going to have a gun. Stop teasing her. Stop poking the bear.
Yeah.
On a rewatch, Erin is constantly jinxing herself this episode. Nonstop. There's like 3 or 4 different confessionals where she talks about what a great spot she's in. Ooh. And again, like I said last week on the pod, I don't know if I said this in the pod or in our text conversations, I relate to this because every time I get voted out of something, it's after saying I feel like I'm in a good spot. So this is like the Scream, like the Randy Meeks rules of reality TV. That was my Twitter name for a while, by the way, was Randy Meeks of reality TV. So I'm going to do this now. When I get murdered, watch this back and learn the rules of reality TV. Don't say, I feel like I'm in a really great spot this week.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get voted out. Ghostface is going to vote you out of the game. Don't do it.
That's great advice.
Thank you. The Axis of Evil.
Ooh,
how evil can it be if Megan is here?
I don't know. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Maybe... I feel like Jackson, Aaron, and Kevin. Yes.
Right.
We'll call it the Axis of Evil.
Yes.
And Megan is in the axis. Megan is in the axis of evil.
Yeah,
really.
That's right.
Come on.
The other 3 are carrying that easily.
Megan is not in the axis. Stop.
No.
Stop it, Sam. I know you're mad. We've discussed that you're mad. We get it. Hurt feelings. I understand. Megan is not in the axis of evil.
No. Axis of evil-ish, maybe we can call it. Axis
of evil adjacent.
There we go.
Jackson hates Kevin. It's pretty clear by this point. And the thing is, like, I understand Jackson's reasoning of Jackson doesn't want to play with wild card type players, which I understand. Same. Like, yes. I get it. I get it as well. I get it to a degree. I don't feel that way as much. This is where you and I diverge kind of in our thinkings on Survivor of I don't mind the wild card players as much. But for Jackson has to see Kevin as a shield, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, it really depends on the situation, but if you can contain a wild card long enough to use them as a shield, I think that's smart. But when the shield is Kevin, it's just tough. It would be tough for me. I think it does make sense. You're right. Like, I mean, I think it's fine that Jackson's kind of telling people. I mean, I don't know if he was telling people or just his confessionals that like he doesn't actually want to work with Kevin. But sometimes also like when people are lumping you into an alliance that you're necessarily not a part of, sometimes it's just better to just like roll with it.
Yes.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Like if Jackson and Kevin both get to the merge, I'm very interested in what happens with that. But yeah, I don't know. And also now they're on separate tribes. So it's like, you know, it doesn't matter as much right now. But yeah, I feel like if Kevin can be contained, if that's even a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like Jackson should try to keep him around if he can for a couple rounds.
And also, I feel like if Kevin is openly saying to people, I'm working closely with Jackson, okay, like, great. Like, even if you don't want to work closely with Kevin, I feel like that's a good person to keep around. Somebody who is telling other people that they like you.
Right.
Is good.
Yeah.
It's always good to have a backup.
Yeah.
Dylan is here. We get a fun Dylan moment. Again, I hope this continues because it's funny. And I think Dylan is incredible. And he's a hoot. And 2 seasons in a row of this, or not 2 seasons in a row, excuse me, 2 seasons now of this is hilarious. Kevin at one point is talking about how information flows so easily in the game, and it becomes clear about halfway through his confessional, he's just talking about things he told Bailey. but I don't know that he ever makes the connection that that's where the information is flowing from. Because he's like, man, I say one thing and it gets around to everybody. And it's like, it's just Bailey. Bailey is doing this to you. Stop telling Bailey stuff. But, and again, this is where I'm going to criticize Bailey a bit. She got a kudos earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
But now she's going to take a criticism because she's just, and I mean, they're openly saying it at one point. I think multiple people are openly saying, like, if you meet with Bailey, she just tells you stuff.
Yeah.
Like the moment you sit down Bailey, she just starts telling you stuff. And I'm like, no, don't do this.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like, does she think that the more information she gives, the more trust she can build with someone? But then on the other hand of that, it's like, if you're constantly telling people things that other people are telling you, especially in a season like this, like other people are going to communicate and talk. So it's like, it's going to get back that it was you eventually. So yeah, it would be nice for her to dial that back a little bit. Honestly, I think she's good at building relationships, but she doesn't have to spill as much tea as she's been spilling.
Yes, I agree. And I think it comes down to something that I think it's something that probably makes Bailey a good person, but maybe is a flaw in her Survivor game, is that she, I think, is one of these, like, I want to work with the good people and I don't want to, and the bad people need to get voted out things, which, I mean, like having a strong moral center is a good thing. Like in life, it makes you a good person. I'm sure Bailey is a very good person. But in Survivor, like there's a confessional later, she's talking about Sam and she's like, Sam's done all this shady stuff and there's no consequences. And it's like, yeah, because it's Survivor. There's no consequences. He's not, he's not committing mail fraud or anything. He's playing Survivor. Like, it's okay that there's no consequences for a person like that because it's Survivor. And I don't like to hear this from my Survivor players. It's a complaint I have about CBS Survivor players. It's a recurring thing that comes up on that show that I don't love. And I don't love seeing it here. There's no good people and bad people in Survivor. It's Survivor where everybody's playing hard. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Tracksuit Adam is super cute. Not a strategy note. The plan. This is a strategy note about Adam. He has the plan on this whiteboard. The first thing that I noticed that's so funny is that his like class schedule has taken like the bottom corner of this whiteboard, and the other 95% of the whiteboard is this plan that he's going to try and distance himself from Sam. So funny. So funny. Good.
If that doesn't give you like a just like a metaphor for, I'm sure, for playing this game while you're in college, like I don't know what else would.
It is a perfect visual. This is a dumb plan. And I love both of these boys. So I love Sam. I love Adam, which is why I can say this. You're not distancing yourself from each other at this point. Yeah. Nobody is buying that you two aren't together at this point.
Right.
Why? What is it about Survivor Michigan? It's the ghost of the Alexes lives in Survivor Michigan, where people think they can just say, oh, I'm not really friends with this person, and people will believe them. Like, Liz is not here. Liz is not here to fall for this. Okay, again, stop doing this. Everyone who plays Survivor, future Survivor Michigan players who are watching this, just if you have friends, just have friends.
Right.
It's fine. Yeah. When Survivor Michigan All-Stars 3 films, go back, send somebody this clip, send your favorite All-Star this clip. Just be friends with your friends. It doesn't matter. But it's okay because Adam is cute and he's funny. And he also at one point says, once again, I'm not a puppet, which that's Adam's signature quote. We know he's not a puppet. That's his intro video. Right. Is he's not a puppet. If
he just really wants to make sure
Adam isn't, he's not a puppet.
He's not a puppet.
He's not a puppet.
Definitely
and
not.
We're affirming that.
Yes.
He's the number one in our power rankings of people who aren't puppets.
Yes.
Lucy. I like Lucy. I feel like Lucy is playing a good game here. I feel like she's playing a much better game than she played before.
Yeah.
But you can't play the under the radar game twice in a row. If you played, Nick can play the under the radar game this time if he wants to. Sam can play the under the radar. Some of these guys can play that. Leia can play the under the radar game this time. There's people in this game who can do that, and Lucy's not one of them. Because when you're a 0 vote finalist and you come back, it's a very specific situation, right? If you're a 0 vote finalist that comes back, you have to play the game fundamentally differently than you did the first time, or you are going to get blanked again.
Yeah, that's a really great point.
Like, it's the Amanda Kimmel thing of like, if your game, your first season is that you played behind a strategist and a big player, and then you got to Final Tribal Council and lost, you can't come back a second time and play behind a big strategic player and get to Final Tribal Council because you're going to lose again. That
is such a good comparison. Yeah.
And that's my fear for Lucy is playing a really good game. She's in a great spot. She's in a good spot to go very far. It's just in her specific circumstance of having had this happen to her the first time, she's going to have to step out of that at some point.
Right. And I was just thinking that too. Like, if she's able to, like, you know, if like Sam and Adam go, not that we would want this, or some, you know, the people that she's closest with are voted out, and then she's able to still navigate the game, make moves. Maybe she was a part of that, then gets to the end, then yes, it's a different situation than her first time. But I agree with you. Like, right now, it's Lucy 2.0.
I know.
So, yeah. I mean, there's still a lot of game left. But
there's a lot of game left. And she's playing better than she played. Like, decidedly better game. She's much more independent, much... In her confessionals, you can tell she's thinking a lot harder about the game.
Yeah.
It's all compliments for her game at this point, except for I need her to be thinking about that. There's a very funny montage where the boys are like, we're taking the week off, and the girls are like, we're forming a girls' alliance. So, like, even Cooper is like, I'm taking some time for myself.
Yeah.
Which is just so funny. Andrew's like shirtless in bed. He's relaxing. He also... Go to class, guys. This is a perfect week for you guys to go to class. I'm sure your professors have no idea who you are. They've never seen you before. Go to class. Also, there is an episode of The Simpsons where Homer is a member of the Stonecutters Club, which is like this Freemasons thing. And he reminisces about when he was a kid and his friends formed the No Homers Club. And they let in one Homer because they're allowed to have one. And I feel like this is what's happening to Megan, is they're forming a girls' alliance, but there's no Megan.
Aww.
And I feel like let Megan be in your girls' alliance.
Yeah.
Like, don't do a girls' alliance with no... First, she's getting called evil, and she's getting left out of the girls' alliance. It's a rough week for Megan, and she has immunity. She's not going to tribal council, but
I
think she's just getting kicked around.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Nick has his visual aid out, which is so good. We love a visual aid, and this visual aid is extremely good. We said about Nick in season 2, like over and over again, Nick knows what's going on, but he's not doing anything about it. Once again, Nick has the pulse of the game completely. He literally is like a viewer at this point, going through he's like a podcasting about the season.
Right.
As it's going on. And once again, how do we come to the conclusion that it has to be Jackson or Aaron? I'm watching this episode the second time.
Yeah.
And Nick is saying all the right things in confessional, right? He's saying, like, Sam is so dangerous. He has people on the other side. There's this. They're at one point talking about how they want to keep Sam in the game. So he's looking at going after Adam because Adam has this idol. So maybe they should vote for Lucy. All of these ideas make sense. I don't understand how it's the 10 p.m. lights again, by the way. I don't understand how we get to Jackson and Aaron here. My note here is that it's like, remember in high school when you would do all the math correctly and somehow still get the wrong answer?
Oh, that was me all the time.
Same. That's what I feel like happens on this tribe this week. Like, everyone is saying the right things. Nick has a whole visual aid. They're having this meeting where they're like, should it be Sam? No. Should it be Adam? No, it's going to be Lucy. Adam's never going to play the idol on Lucy. We weaken those two. We put ourselves in the power position, blah, 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 blah. And then it just doesn't happen.
Is it Sam's missed his magic ways?
Is Magic Sam to blame for this?
It's so funny because, I mean, and like you did a rewatch on it. I don't know why I walked away from the episode thinking it was a good idea to target Jackson and Aaron.
Have the Sam missed.
that's what I was just gonna say. Was it just because it wasn't gonna be Sam? And I also didn't want Adam to waste his idol either.
Yes,
that would have sucked. So I guess I have to take off like my hats of who I'm fans of, which we're fans of basically everybody. But
yeah,
I don't know. I thought Nick and both Sarah kind of made a good decision to split up the Jackson Aaron situation, and they got rid of Jackson's idol too. So I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Sam's mist came through the screen at me, and I'm just not seeing it.
No, I think this is a valid argument to be made. I think there's a back and forth on this to be had. The biggest problem I have with this is I feel like they set up Jackson to be a very powerful swing vote if they lose again next week.
Yeah.
I cannot possibly foresee a situation in which Jackson goes home next week, because now you have Bree, Nick, and Sarah, and Adam, Sam, and Lucy, and Jackson.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's also something I want to touch. I'm going to jump ahead to the end of the episode now.
Yeah.
Because I didn't notice this on the original watch through. Jackson, when he's voting, right? Because we get 4 votes for Aaron, 4 votes for Jackson, 3 votes for Aaron, and then Aaron votes for Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson votes for Aaron and then says, Sarah told me that the 4 votes were coming my way. I hope she didn't lie to me.
Oh.
Yes, which doesn't get brought up in the episode at all. But if what Jackson is saying there is correct, there's 4 votes on Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
This vote split is 4 on Jackson, 2 on Aaron, and then Aaron and Jackson vote wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah is tipping Jackson off to play his idol.
Interesting.
And saving him. That at least is how Jackson's... Again, I'm getting this from the 10-second Jackson voting confessional. So I don't know how canon this is or isn't at this point, but it seems like Jackson is saying, Sarah tipped me off. Which, if this becomes a Jackson swing vote situation,
he goes with Sarah, Nick, and Bree.
It's brilliant play by Sarah.
Yeah.
It's 4D chess play by Sarah, if this is correct. Which, like, for me, I mean, Sam voting and saving himself and switching the flip is probably the biggest move of the season so far. This is, to me, equal to that. If that is what happened and how it played out, this is equal to that for me, 100%.
And I'm glad you caught that, because I definitely didn't. And I think I was also confused on, like, did people know about Jackson's idol? And maybe I just, like, missed some of that. Like, did he... Like, I guess my question seeing that was, like, what finally made Jackson be like, yes, I'm playing my idol here? Like, was he always playing it? So for you to say that and catch that, I think is a really good point. Yeah, that's a great move by Sarah to tip him off. And I forget, who was she? She was sitting with him. Weren't they? It was like, was it her, Jackson? Was Jackson there? I could be wrong.
That 5 that's in that 5 of them. Yeah, it's Jackson and Aaron, and then Sarah, Nick, and Bree.
Bree, got it.
That's
okay.
the 5 when they're talking about voting. Should we vote out Adam, Sam, Lucy? Who's going to play the idol? Blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where Jackson also has a great confessional about like when you want to scare people, bring up idols, which is a really, really Jackson is good.
Yeah,
he is very good.
Yeah, he's like back, like strategist Jackson. Like I feel like in the beginning, the first couple episodes, he like wasn't really playing the game. I think this swap was like something that he needed.
Yes, I agree.
To get off that Sangria tribe.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's a really good catch. And like you said, if we get more of an explanation on that in the next episode, Sarah tipping him off is great. Because I was even thinking that earlier when you were kind of saying like, you know, why go Aaron versus like a Sam situation? But maybe like this move is sort of like, it's like, obviously like it appeases Sam, Lucy, and Adam, I'm assuming, or at least Sam and Lucy. But maybe it lulls them into like a false sense of security where it's like now they could be like, okay, let's just do Jackson, but then Sarah, Bree, Jackson, Nick take out one of the other 3 type of thing. So,
and I mean, we know what Sarah's big goal this season is. She says it every episode. She says it in this episode is she has to get out Cooper. That's her win condition this season is she has to get out Cooper. So if she's thinking that way, Sam is a great person to keep in the game because Sam is another person who's openly said he's going after Cooper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that he's a great shield for her.
Yes. I'm just going to run through a couple of the rest of these notes before we get to power rankings. Jackson doesn't know how to make people like him. So funny. Professor Nick, another spin-off show we're getting this week is Professor Nick. So funny. Love him. Love Nick. Love this. All of it. This is the last big point that I want to make is when we talk about this flip, Sam is having a conversation with Bree at one point where they're talking about going Ohana strong, which is so funny, A. And B, at one point, quote of the season so far, do it for Maggie.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's honestly, I have a throw pillow that says the same thing. And I wake up every day and say to myself, do it for Maggie. I have to be strong today. I have to achieve today because I want Maggie to be proud of me. So also somebody smarter than me make that into a GIF so I can send it to even my friends that don't watch Survivor Michigan. I don't care. I do it for Maggie. But then after this, Bree is talking about how she just gets better vibes from Sam and that. And I'm not thrilled on the Bree vibes strategy here. Yeah. Especially if Bree's goal is to work with this Leia, Emily B, Jesse thing, which I think is a really great spot for her.
Yeah.
I don't know that voting out Aaron is... Or, I mean, I guess they think they're voting out Jackson. Which even still, I don't know. Don't you vote out Sam and try to pick off Lucy there? I don't know.
Yeah. Because that's the other thing, too. Like, were people surprised that Jackson had an idol?
I am excited to find out.
Yeah,
I feel like people knew he had an idol. Were people surprised he played it? Because this 4-2 vote split indicates that either one of two things, right? Either they thought he had an idol or he was the target.
Right.
Or both. It can be both. It's not mutually exclusive, but you only put the majority votes on someone if you either want them to play their idol or you want to vote them out.
Right.
So, I don't know. Yeah, so that basically takes us to the end of the episode here. Both of these tribes are kind of left in very weird positions, right? We're at final 14.
Yep.
We know we have a pretty good sense we're not merging yet because we know we're getting scavenger hunt next week.
Can't wait.
Oh my God. I can't even talk about it. I'm the Survivor Michigan scavenger. I just said I can't talk about it, and here I go. The Survivor Michigan scavenger hunt it's a tent pole of College Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is a top 5 challenge ever for me.
Yeah.
Mitch almost dying, Cinnamon Mitch. Head of lettuce, eating a whole head of lettuce.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Cooper shouting out in class.
Yes, I was just thinking of that one.
The kiss.
The infamous kiss.
I mean, season 1 and season 2, the season 2 Nick and Kevin kiss, which the other gift that I never got that I still need is Nick saying he's so hetero over and over again. Oh my God.
That's great.
Which, I'm trying to think. Yeah, because there's really... So Nick could either kiss Jackson or Sam this season. And then
that's true.
He could just keep ticking off his list of the... or Adam. I mean...
Whoa. Yeah. Right. That could happen. I feel like they flashed a quick...
They flashed... I thought it was Leia and Emily B.
Okay. I didn't absorb it because I was like, I want to see it fresh. But thinking back, I'm like, I don't remember who it was. But I'm assuming both... Like, obviously, both tribes are going to have to do it. So,
yes. So the other, I mean, Nick and Adam, hello.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being like a straight woman at a bachelorette party and shipping the only 2 like gay guys on the tribe. But if that turned into a showmance, Joe.
Oh, why not? Let's put it out into the universe.
I'm putting it out into the universe. If we get angry DMs from either Nick or Adam this week, we will retract what we're putting out into the universe. Yes. But for now, I love both of these guys. I'm on the record as loving both of these guys.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Why not?
Let's ship it. We're shipping it.
Yes.
Wouldn't be the first time we had a Survivor Michigan ship. Won't be the last. All right. Do we want to get to power rankings? Sure.
Let's do it.
All right, the circle of power.
Yes.
Is how many? Is it 5 or 6 this week on the circle of power?
I only had like 3.5.
Okay.
It's funny again. Like, so Paul and I have different strategies with this. Where I just watch the episode one time and I don't take notes, and he watches it twice and takes notes the second time. Yes. So what I did today before coming on this, I was just like, I try to think, but this is honestly just like a memory tester for me because I'm getting old. So I'm just kind of,
this is like your man, woman, person, camera, TV.
Yes.
But it's with Survivor Michigan contestants.
Exactly. So what I usually do is before we prepare to do this, I kind of, and sometimes I don't, I change up my strategy a little bit, but what I'll do is like, I'll try to think back to the episode and pick out people who I like really remembered or had like strong feelings, one way or another, like strategy wise, and then kind of write them down. So, so that's what I did this week. So the circle of power is a little bit smaller than normal, but
that's okay.
It's still here and strong as ever.
I love it. All right. Kick us off. Circle of power.
I put Sarah.
Yes.
Great episode for Sarah. Again, we are huge fans of the visuals. And I think, honestly, like of the live games that I've played, I wish I had pen and paper.
Oh my gosh.
Because I would be doing this too. So I love that we get to see so much of that in this game. And it honestly kind of helps too, especially with this season where there are so many connections. Mm-hmm. And again, this is, this is based on their perception of things, but obviously they're going to know who's friends, yada, yada. So it is nice to see so many visuals this season because it's very helpful. But even beyond that, I think she had a great episode. She was meeting up with a ton of people. I think, her, Nick, and also Bree find themselves in this sort of middle position, which is a great spot to be in. You caught it. I didn't. This very small 10-second tidbit that we're going to become, make a molehill out of a mountain or mountain out of a molehill.
There you go. We got there.
We got there. So if that is, that pushes her up the circle even more. So I don't know, even beyond being us being friends with Sarah, we're big fans, but honestly in this episode, I think she had a great episode overall. And that is why she's on my list.
Fully agree. Yes, of course the Sarah bias is real, but she's just playing excellently. Mm-hmm. And she's playing from this weird position of
Yeah.
being this first boot.
Mm-hmm.
She's making the most of her connections. It's not even, you can't call it an under the radar game because she's meeting up with so many people. She's on people's radar, but she's not, nobody is saying Sarah's a threat.
Right,
We got to
right.
target Sarah. We got to look at Sarah. She's just not being perceived that way.
Which is good.
And so I feel like there's a very, very high ceiling for Sarah in this game.
Yeah.
Very high.
Yeah.
Maybe even, it's so funny because their personalities are so different, but is there something to like Sarah and Dale as a comparison in the way they interact with people and the way they make people feel? Obviously, two totally different personalities.
Yeah.
I've never seen Sarah in a cowboy hat, or Danger Sarah has not emerged
right.
at any of our hangouts. But I think there is something to people like Sarah this season. They like talking to her. They like hanging out with her. In a way, when you and I had our conversation with Dale, that he talked about making those connections is something I feel like Sarah is doing.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm very high on Sarah's game.
Perfect.
All right.
Do you want me to continue with the next?
I want you to continue. Keep going.
I put Nick.
Yes. Okay.
Basically, almost the same reasons as Sarah's up there. We're getting the visuals. He's plotting out all the connections. Him and Sarah being in that similar spot, kind of sort of driving where the vote went this episode, was taking out Aaron the right choice. We'll see in the future, but I think he's playing great. I love who he's aligned with, and I think he's in a great spot. Not to, knock on wood. But...
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Good thing this season is already filmed.
Thank God.
Hopefully our comments don't go back in time somehow. But yeah, basically I could say a lot of the same things about him that we just said about Sarah. Like, I think, he's playing a great game. He's in a good position in his tribe right now. So happy to put him on the list. Yes,
I agree. I'm a huge fan of the Nick game. Nick is somebody who came in and improved from his last game. I have, through the course of this conversation, I've been talked into this decision that Nick and Sarah made.
Okay.
I think maybe it was better than I was coming in ready to talk about, because of what you've said of, if it does set up this 3 versus 3 with Jackson in the middle, that Sarah, it has kind of had Jackson on their side. And even then, Nick has Lucy. He has that connection with Lucy that I don't think, in the same way that Nick wasn't going to vote out Lucy, I don't think Lucy is going to vote out Nick either.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And Nick and Sam, also, we didn't really talk about it, but Nick and Sam seem to have some sort of connection.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is Sam missed or if this is real, but Nick is saying he would rather have taken out Adam than Sam. So whatever it is, it's working.
Yeah.
So we'll see. My only concern here, and it goes back to what I've been talking about at the beginning of the episode, is how far can you let Sam get?
Right.
I'm going to spoil both the season of CBS Survivor and Survivor Maryland All-Stars here. So if you haven't watched Maryland All-Stars, please click ahead about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But is this the Chris Thomas thing or the Jeremy Collins thing, where it's we'll take them out eventually? Both of those guys were the poster children of, we'll take them out eventually, especially Chris Thomas, because he's fun and he's funny and people like being around him. And all of a sudden you wake up and he's sitting in front of the jury and it's, I guess he just won Survivor Maryland All-Stars, huh?
Yeah. That's a good point.
The Jeremy Collins thing too, of like, we'll take out Jeremy. Let's take out Steven first. He's a bigger threat. Let's take out, let's take out this person here. And all of a sudden 9-0, Jeremy Collins is a millionaire.
Right. Yeah, I
I
think that's a great point, and I think we're getting close to that like threshold. Like it's still a little bit early. There's still enough maneuvering. If this was like 4 episodes into the merge or something, and people are saying, "Oh, we'll just take out Sam later," definite red flags. I think there's another like week or 2 that they have. But if he slips through and gets through, because I think the other thing I was going to bring up too is like Sarah's visual. She had Aaron and Sam on opposite ends and like kind of putting where their connections were. So, and again, she's looking at it from that perspective of those 2 specific players and where everybody falls.
Yes.
I think shield wise, Sam is a bigger shield. I think Aaron did have a lot of connections, but so I don't know. Yeah, this is going to be sort of one of those kind of like, did we say the same thing about the Will vote where like, or I don't know if I just thought this myself or if we talked about it, but like this could be one of those like defining like forks in the road.
I think we did talk about that.
Okay. So like, is this like, we'll throw like Sarah and Nick into it. Like, is this their fork in the road where like, if later on in the season, they both get taken out and like Sam is still in the game.
Yes.
Then we know that this was not the right choice.
Yeah, they'll look back at this vote in particular, right?
And then if we get somewhere far in the game where Sam is gone and Nick and or Sarah are still in the game, then we still agree that this moment was correct for them. So it's like it's a very interesting like way to look at it. But I think we will be talking about this again in the future, whether it was good or bad.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, as of right now, I'm thumbs up now post this conversation on it. But even if this was the wrong move, I'm fine with where Nick sits in the game.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with both Nick and Sarah at their point in the game. I don't necessarily know that this was a pivotal vote, I think, but I also think that there were pros and cons. So I don't think it's necessarily like a black and white, like, oof, like we're not coming back going, oh my gosh, what did you do kind of thing.
Yeah.
All right, next.
I put Sam ? And that just might have been his missed on me. I don't know.
Well, we've sort of been having Sam is always kind of the specter in the back of all of these conversations because it's like, how do you, it's the sound of music, right? How do you solve a problem like Sam?
Right.
Of everybody loves him. Not everybody loves him, but a lot of people in this game love him.
Yeah.
He has the same thing Cooper has, which is you can't bring up his name without there being repercussions. He's got this insulation around him to a degree. I don't know. I don't know. And again, we just discussed it, so we don't have to belabor the point to death. But where are you going to take out Sam?
Right. There's going to be less and less options to do so as we get further in the game. So, especially
if Bree is vibing with Sam now.
I know.
And they're on this whole do it for Maggie kick.
Yeah.
Like that's dangerous.
Right. It's like if honestly it makes sense if that tribe loses again to take a shot.
Yes.
And I'm like saying that hesitantly.
Is Nick gonna do that? Is Bree gonna do that?
I know. Yeah. And it could be like another like Adam. They go for like Adam for some reason, and then he plays like it's. Yeah, it's gonna be. At some point,
on both of these tribes are in the same position of. I haven't said it's been 59 minutes. I haven't said it yet, but your friends are your friends and your allies are your allies.
Yeah.
Right. And so on the other tribe, you have Cooper doesn't want to vote out Leia. Bailey doesn't want to vote out Emily or Jesse, and so, but like, okay, so you're just going to vote Kevin out and kick the can down the road, and then you go to this other tribe and it's like, well, Bree doesn't want to vote out Sam. Nick doesn't want to vote out Sam or Lucy, but he's also kind of close with Adam. So you're just going to vote out Jackson and kick the can down the road?
Yeah.
Like, at some point, it's all stars. Like, you got to put on your big boy pants and your big girl pants and say, I have to make this move, even if it's voting out a friend.
Right. That's a really good point. Both tribes are basically mirroring each other. Like Kevin and Jackson are in that same spot, and it's like they're both sort of the easy vote if with the next tribal that they go to. But there's a lot of people on both tribes that would benefit from not voting out the easy vote. And
if Jackson or Kevin get voted out this week, I'm coming back here and we're doing a roast session on whoever did that.
Yes,
because you can't.
Yeah. They will not be on the circle of power.
You are not. You are out of the circle. You have been banished from the circle of power. That whole tribe.
You've been blocked from the circle.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. Because at some point, like, nobody in this game is in a good enough situation that they can afford to punt at this point. Right. Nobody is looking at the other tribe going, I have enough friends over there that at merge, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Maybe Bree. Mm-hmm. Bree might be the only person in this game at this point who can look at the board and look at everybody and go, I'm just going to punt and wait till merge.
Yeah.
She's the only person who I would make an excuse for at this point doing that. None of the other people in this game, if they're voting out Jackson or Kevin at this point, I think are doing the right thing or are thinking forward enough. Because, I mean, and again, not to belabor that point, but Jackson, Kevin, Megan, instead of thinking of them as the axis of evil, right? This is a 3-vote block. You could be bringing into your tent. You know, Bree and Sam and Nick could be bringing Jackson, Kevin, and Megan in. And then at merge, you have 6 people. It's a weird 6, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you have 6 people in this block that mutually need each other. Especially, you're looking at the rest of the board. You're looking at Cooper and Leia, Cooper and Andrew, Leia and Emily B and Jesse. All of those, Sam and Adam and Lucy, all of those people who are all going to be huge obstacles to you winning the game.
Right.
Again, Sam is a problem that has to be solved. Cooper is a huge problem that has to be solved. These guys are not going to trip and fall their way out of the game.
Right.
At some point you're going to have to make the move. You're going to have to buck up and you're going to have to say, it's you this week. You're going home this week. Yeah.
That's a great
I don't know. We'll see
who does it.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I am excited to find out. Was that your whole list?
Pretty much. If you want to, do you have any on yours?
No, I was relying on the Circle of Power this week because I enjoy it so much.
I wrote Jackson's name down.
Okay.
We kind of mentioned it
I feel
earlier.
like we've talked about that, why that's a valid way to look at the game right now. Jackson's in a good spot, maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's in a terrible spot. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. We'll find out in a week or two.
Yeah.
But no, I think he's playing the game a little bit more. I think, he plays his idol correctly, which is great. He votes, out his ally, but at least he voted. What was the vote again? Was it 4-3-1? It
was 4-3-1. So he voted for Aaron instead of picking a side in this battle, which is smart.
I think that was smart. Right. And I think the tip off from Sarah was good. So
because if Jackson votes for Lucy there with Aaron, right, it's 2 for Lucy, 2 for Aaron. We have a revote. I don't feel like the votes are there to save Aaron.
No.
At all.
Yeah. So he definitely made the right move.
Jackson does is tip his hand there. So I'm impressed with that as well.
Yeah. That's where I left it. I feel like I tend to focus more on the people that go to tribal.
Right.
I mean, we could probably throw Bree on there, Leia, or probably 2 other ones just from our conversation and you watching it twice that I could add.
I did want to once again bring up Emily B.
Oh, perfect.
Who I just think is in just a stellar spot. What is the Emily B signature move? Right?
Ooh.
That's what I need to see. And she's got plenty of time. This is not a criticism of her left. I think she's played a great pre-merge game. I don't think you need to be constantly swinging for the fences in the pre-merge.
Sure. Yeah.
The thing we need to keep our eye on is saying, what is the Emily B signature move? What is the thing that she does that is going to get her to the end where she can say, I did this, and that's why I deserve to win?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is, I think, the question that needs to be asked, because right now I think she's in a great spot. I think she's headed there. What is that going to be for her? So if, say Emily B is sitting at the end with Brie and Jessie or some combination of that, why her and not the other two?
Yeah.
If she is sitting at the end with Leia, why not Leia? Why Emily B over Leia? But I think she's in a fantastic spot. She's another person who, I've said it now 5 weeks in a row. She's on the most improved players list. Her and Adam are so good.
Yeah.
They've come so far. I love them both. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking for.
Cool.
What's next for Emily B? So I'm keeping a keen eye on her every week now. Every time she's on screen, I'm trying to make Emily B notes, because I'm like, I think that girl is going to go far.
Love it.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we have power ranked our hearts out this evening.
Perfect.
Join us again next week. We'll be back as always. You can follow us on social media, DM us, shoot us messages if you have questions you want answered. If you have qualms, if you have tea you want to spill, our DMs are always open for tea. Yes. If you want to come and tell us how we are the college survivor know-it-alls, feel free to slide into our DMs and do that as well. We love doing this. We have such a blast with this every week, and it just makes our watch better. I hope it makes your guys' watch better too. So until next week, that's all for us.
Bye, everybody.